Good morning and welcome to Quilting with Lori. My name is Lori Dickman. Today we are on week 1 of my fall mystery quilt for 2024. It's called Pumpkin Logs, and this is a mystery quilt that is a YouTube sew-along. There is a pattern for it. You can register for the pattern in those 4 classes. It's just $15. I have links below, but hopefully you'll all join me. You don't have to do it as I'm working through this for the next 4 weeks. You can do it at your leisure because the videos obviously will always be available to you. But hopefully you'll all join me, and week by week we'll get through this quilt in no time at all. So here's a sneak peek of what some of the blocks will look like in this quilt. Normally I don't let you see anything, but I did allow you to see what some of the border blocks would look like, and an applique, and as well as the log cabin. This week we're going to be working on the log cabins portion of this quilt, and it is a wall quilt. It's 52 inches square. Each of the blocks in the center of the wall quilt are they'll finish at 9 inches square. We'll be squaring them up to 9.5 inches when we've finished with them today here, but they will finish at 9 inches in the quilt. But it's going to be a beautiful quilt. I hope that you'll be using your scraps. I am going to be using scraps myself. You know me, I want to use what I have on hand. So I'm using a variety of oranges and golds and greens to accomplish this, and then a cream colored background. And I'll show you that in just a minute. However, you can use any color way that you might choose. I've seen some beautiful fall harvest colors that are in the teals. They're beautiful. So maybe you're going to do that. I've even seen some fall harvest colorways in the pinks, which they're also gorgeous. If you are looking for any ideas, I hope that you'll check out my resource tab on my website, and I'll have a link below. It'll take you out to connecting threads to the Riley Blake line, which is called Autumn, let's see, what was it? Autumn Afternoon. Beautiful fabric. So check that out if you're needing some autumn fabrics. But otherwise, grab all the scraps that you have that might be in the colorway that you're interested in for this wall quilt, and let's get started. So on my tabletop here, you'll see some of the fabrics I plan to use. I have a variety of greens and what I'm calling oranges. Some of them are in the gold color tone, but they're all going to work beautifully. It's going to be mine will be a scrappy quilt. Yours can be more controlled scrappy if you choose. Totally up to you. Just have fun selecting your fabrics. I do have a couple of different background fabrics that I'll be using. They're pretty much very, very similar in their colorway. And then this will be my backing of my quilt. So I've got enough from backing for that. And I'm not sure yet what I'll do on the binding. I'll figure that out when I get to it. And then I am going to, there are some applique blocks in this. And there's one applique block that's in the center of the quilt, and then there's 4 on each corner. And I'm going to use some wool to do the applique. You don't have to. You can certainly just use your quilting cotton, but I'm going to use wool for mine. So that's totally up to you. You can do what you choose to on that. I just got a bundle at Paducah back in April when I was in Paducah, and I love these colors. So that's what I got. That's what I'm going to use. And I'll have more than plenty in this bundle here to finish my 5 applique blocks. So today we are going to be working on a log cabin block, and it basically has a 3.5 inch center, and we have 2-inch cut strips that are the logs that we've cut, and the block, they'll finish at 1.5 inches wide in the block, and then the block itself is squared up to 9.5 inches, and it will finish in the quilt at 9 inches. But just a beautiful block, so simple to make. So I have cut some of my logs as I have given you the instructions on your PDF. So those of you who have registered for the class will have received a PDF of week 1's instructions, and it will tell you how to cut, what to cut, and then it will show you step by step how we are going to put this block together to create the pumpkin log cabin block. So now I'm going to head over to my sewing machine. I'll bring you with me, and I'll show you how we're going to sew this together. I have my block laid out here in front of me with all of the logs, and just follow along on your instructions, cutting the different sizes that you need for either the oranges or the greens or whatever colors you plan to use in their place. Oh, and by the way, if you're hearing a bunch of panting behind me, my Boston Terrier was out chasing squirrels. She's now inside and she's exhausted. So that's what's going on behind me on the floor here. So the block is ready to get pieced together, and I've started based on the instructions. And in fact, I recommend you just lay out each of your logs this way for each block. That way you won't get things messed up. But we've got the square in the middle, and then this smaller orange log on top. Then we'll attach this log, which matches that one on this side. Then we'll attach this log on the bottom, which is in the greens. Its mate will get attached to the side here. Then we'll have the orange log up at the top, this one on here on this side, this one at the bottom, and this one on the side. So we're going around here, want to make sure that all of the oranges or golds or teals or whatever color you happen to be using is on this one side, and then all the greens or whatever colors you're using in that place right here on this side, so that they don't get mixed up. That's very easy to get things mixed up as you're going around. So just pay attention and make sure after you've sewn every seam that you check that you've sewn that log on the correct side before you proceed. Now let's get to sewing this block. So on the block, I've already sewn the smaller strip to the top. So now I'm going to sew this strip to the side. And we'll grab that and get started. So far, I've simply finger pressed this. I'm going to go ahead and take it to the machine, or the ironing board, excuse me, and I'm going to get it pressed, and then I need to get it squared up to 9.5 inches. And as you'll see with my color selection, they aren't necessarily lighter and darker. I am just using a variety of scraps in the oranges or golds in some cases, as well as in the greens. And some of my greens have more of a brown tone to them. I'm just absolutely using up my scrap stash to make this beautiful scrappy quilt. All right, I have 2 of my blocks finished, and they'll be squared up to 9.5 inches. And I pressed my seam allowances to the dark all the way around. You can certainly press yours open if you choose to do that. One thing that I am doing is I'm just cutting my width of fabric strips, a couple at a time, and then I'm just cutting out the segments. I'm subcutting them just 2 blocks at a time. That way I'm not getting myself all messed up and accidentally cutting things that I shouldn't. So that's what I'm doing. So for the lighter orange, I cut 2 of these and 2 of these. They're right here. For the darker orange, I've cut 2 of these and 2 of these. They're right here. And then for the green, that will be on the other side, I've cut 2 of the lighter greens that are here and here. And I've cut 2 of the darker greens that are here and here. That way, I've got 2 blocks that I can create. I'm going to be creating a total of 12. So there will be 2 blocks within the quilt that will all be identical. And then you can mix everything up. Or you can just cut 1 with the fabric strip per color as you're going through it and make sure that each and every block is a little different. Have fun with it. It will be a beautiful scrappy quilt. I can't wait to see some of your quilts. I'm going to go ahead and throw together these 2 blocks so that you'll see what they look like with these, and I'll bring it all right back here in a minute. Here's what I have so far. When I pressed my blocks, I did use steam as well as Mary Ellen's Best Press. And again, I pressed all of my seam allowances to the dark side, and I've just laid them here. This is not actually how they're going to go in the quilt itself, but just so that you can see the 4 blocks that I've produced so far. You do need to create 12 of this pumpkin log cabin block. And I'm going to be creating, I guess, another 8 here in just a minute. So I found that by the time you get to the 3rd and 4th block, I was able to whip through these blocks under 4 minutes. It's amazing how quickly they go together. So, and I just like to lay them all out at my sewing machine there, and I just sew them around as you go. It's a simple little block, goes together quickly, really great for beginners. So this might be something that you might want to tell a friend about who wants to learn to quilt. This is a great opportunity for her. And again, you can register for this class. Below there's a link, and it'll take you out to my website where you can register for the class. So for this week, get 12 of your blocks, scrappy or controlled scrappy, or maybe you just have a specific colorway that you want to use in your wall quilt. But go ahead and get those 12 blocks done. And then next week, we will be working on the center block and the setting squares, and triangles, and corner squares. So it'll be a lot of fun. Thank you so much for joining me today for week number 1 of our 2024 Fall Mystery Quilt. And this one is a YouTube sew-along. And I'm so happy that you've joined me. For those of you who'd like to register, again, go to the link below. It takes you out to my site, and you can register. The pattern is out there for $15, and then you can join and sew along with us. For those of you who don't have your scrap stash cut, sorted, and ready to go, I do have a book, a video tutorial, and a corresponding scrappy book that patterns that you might enjoy checking out. So I'm going to link all of that below. This is the techniques book. It teaches you everything you need to do to get your scrap stash cut, sorted, organized, and ready to use. This is the corresponding patterns book. Between the 2 books, you get 17 great scrappy patterns. But more importantly, you get to learn how to get your scrap stash ready to go so that you can actually use it. I also have playlists out on my YouTube channel that teach you how to use your scrap stash. It's so very important. Once we get it all organized and ready to go, we need to know how to pull from that stash and actually use it. So check all of that out. I'll have links below. And if you like the content that I provide on my channel, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Share the videos with your friends and families and guild members. That really does help the channel to grow, and that way it can get out to other quilters just like yourself. I do really appreciate your doing that for me. And hopefully you've enjoyed what you saw today, and I am excited about the continuing classes that I have coming up and many more things, as well as this mystery quilt that you'll be seeing on my channel here this fall. So stay tuned, and happy quilting. We'll see you next week.